Welcome to BaliLife TV episode 1.
So now we have actually a special guest from Australia. So we have Andrea here. Can you tell me a little bit more about you and what you do here, Andrea?
Okay, I'm a teacher at St Stephen's School in Duncraig in Perth, and we've brought a group of students, high school students, across to experience service learning by working closely with BaliLife.
So this is actually your first trip or your second trip?
This is the second time our school's been here, and I was lucky enough to go last year, and I've come again this year as well, but the students we've brought with us have never been here before. It's their first trip.
Awesome. So how many students do you have this trip?
This trip we've got 13 students.
So how does your students feel about it?
It's been really eye-opening. It's been wonderful. We've been able to visit the street centre and the rubbish tip community centre as well as BaliLife Children's Home, and it's given our students and us as adults that fresh appreciation for how much we have and how much we can give to help other people.
So what is your best highlights on your past week?
As a teacher, it's for me watching my students, Australian students, learn so much while they're here, seeing how they learn to interact with Indonesian people, Balinese people, especially the youth. They spend a lot of time with the youth, and they quickly saw that they could overcome the language barrier and form friendships, and that we have this common humanity, that we might be from a different country, but we have a lot in common, and it's good to be able to become friends with people.
That's good. So probably can you give us a little bit more a message for all of our viewers? Probably the last message for all of our kids here in our children's home, in all of our centers.
Well, there's lots to see when you come here to check out what BaliLife is doing, because they've got so many different projects. So we were able to spend at least a day at each of the different sites. At the Kuta Street Centre, we saw that BaliLife was welcoming in children who didn't have much of an education and couldn't attend normal school in Bali. So BaliLife would help them get their English up and their maths up so that they could go to normal school. Supporting the mums, giving them work to do, and then going out on the street as well and reaching out to the women and the children who are on the street who are selling to tourists. When we went to the rubbish tip sites, we saw how people live there, and I think we were most surprised to see that people weren't crying, they weren't sad about where they lived, they were actually quite content and maybe even thankful for what they had, which is a real wake-up call to us who have so much and yet whinge and complain about wanting more. It's really bad. But the work they're doing is life-changing. These young Indonesian Balinese children are growing up knowing that they're loved, they're cared for, and that they have a hope and they have a future, and that they matter to the world. And that's what BaliLife does. It instills in the children that they reach out and help, this sense of dignity, that God loves you and there are people that care about you. The children's home is phenomenal. That's what's behind me, and they have about 40 children?
42 now, yes.
42. So 42 children living in a beautiful facility that they've built for the children. And the children are a family and they really care for one another. And you can just see the success that BaliLife is having in its work here. And so I just highly recommend getting on board and helping them as much as you can. And even if you just come as a tourist to Bali, the women's workshop, you can find out how you can buy the products that are made by the women, and that's a wonderful way that you can support them just when you come for a holiday.
Sure. Thank you again.
The children.
The children, yes.
Yeah. I hope the children know that they are loved.
Yes.
That God loves them, and that they have a future, and they can do things in the world that are going to make a difference to help other people, just like Peter and Lena are doing, and other people that are working for BaliLife, because we're all in this together.
Thank you. Thank you again, Andrea.
Okay.
Thank you again for watching us and watching our BaliLife TV. And I hope this interview this time is going to encourage you to do more with people in Bali and Indonesia. And we love you. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stay tuned for next episode.